Hello and welcome to Quartzlight, your car brochure channel, and in today's episode, the Peugeot 404. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quartzlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in car brochures and cars in general, please consider subscribing. Back to today's episode. Yes, pretty old brochure this one, isn't it? 1962, the Peugeot 404, and as we'll see, this brochure is in pretty good condition for 1962. So let's throw it on the board and learn a bit more about this wonderful car. And here is today's brochure. Yes, it's a UK brochure, and the number plate clearly states it's a 1962 model year. But like I say, the brochure itself is in lovely condition for 1962, and what beautiful cars these are. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. I think that front grille is absolutely beautiful, and that Peugeot badge looks really beautiful. Probably the nicest Peugeot badge I've seen, to be honest with you. Lovely big chrome bumpers as well with those overriders, and you can see on this little bit of a model the headlights have got that sort of yellow tinge, sort of a continental driving, although it is showing a left-hand drive car, even though the brochure is meant for the UK, meaning it's probably the same brochure you got in other countries as well, but they put the text in English, so you'll probably find some of the features aren't strictly available for right-hand drive models, which is a little bit more unusual. Anyway, let's open the brochure up and learn a bit more about this car. Now, one thing you will notice with this brochure, a lot of 60s brochure kind of like a poster style, and you fold them out. This is actually, you may not think so, but it's a little bit more unusual. It's a traditional brochure that you just open the pages as normal. Now, surprisingly, that's actually a little bit unusual for 60s brochures, because like I said, usually this fold out style, so pretty nice brochure for 62. So as we turn the page, we learn that the saloon version of the 404 was a 5 or 6 seater. Yeah, I guess we're thinking bench seats and before the days of seat belts. One thing about the 404, from some angles you'd be kind of like forgiven for kind of like confusing it with like a Morris Oxford, and that's because it's a Pininfarina designed car with those wings that really remind me of Morris Oxfords. Let's have a look at some of the text though and learn a bit more about this car. So it starts by telling us the 404 has a 4-cylinder inline of the over square design, 1618cc capacity, developing 72 bhp, with a taxable rating of 9 CV, and fitted with an automatic disengaging fan, which is a Peugeot patent apparently, for left-hand drive models only. And like I say, kind of like think this is, a lot of this is translated from French, because it tells us straight away, for us with our right-hand drive models, we can't even get that automatic disengaging fan. And it talks about the taxable rating of 9 CV, which really doesn't make much sense for a UK buying public. It tells us the engine, with a sturdy construction in the tradition of the 403, gives the car brilliant acceleration and high performance up to 90 miles per hour, and remarkably averages with the exceptional economy of 30 miles per gallon. Now, these cars certainly were known as being very durable vehicles. They ran in Europe from 1960 to 1975. That's in Europe, but a place like Kenya, they were still going around until 1991. To give you a real indication of how durable these cars really were. Now, these are the standard models. You can tell the standard models because, well, a few different reasons, but one of the reasons I've always noticed them is they have this sort of black paint around the front headlamps, where is kind of like chrome on the Deluxe models, although when we get to the Deluxe models it says left-hand drive only. Interesting. So at this time you can only get the standard model as a right-hand vehicle by the looks of it. The small print tells us the 404 saloon can be supplied with or without a sliding roof. The forward side windows retract completely, and the wide panoramic windscreen greatly improves visibility to the front, and its rounded corners do not give any lateral optical distortion. At a time, of course, when a curved front windscreen was kind of like a big deal, but certainly nice to see a sunroof on such an early car. That's very nice, isn't it? And then as we turn the page we get a nice dash shot and a picture from the rear, and certainly from the rear with those rear taillights very much reminds me of a Morris Oxford, but you know, Pininfarina designs and all that. Anyway, let's start by looking at the dash. I think it's a really beautiful looking dashboard actually, particularly in this like white or maybe just off-white colour. It looks really nice with that white steering wheel, big horn ring and that centre Peugeot badge looking very nice, and of course in the centre there it's also saying 404. Very lovely design. Those sort of round vents that you can see there was a new thing for 62 actually. Previously they'd been like a square unit, so that was a bit of an update on the 62 model that we're looking at here. You can also note it is a column change as well. Text wise, I'm not going to read it whole, but it's got little interesting little facts like there's two horns, one for the town and one for the country, operated by that horn ring that we just had a look at. And various little nice little features, a screen washer with an unbreakable reservoir. Overall, I think it's a very pretty looking car though. I do like the styling of these cars, but mind you, I like a lot of Pininfarina design cars around that time, so it's not really a surprise. Quite a bit of a larger car for its time in Europe, so they were very much often used as taxi cabs actually in Europe, and a lot of that is because, you know, good value for money and durable like we mentioned before. So the text wise, it's quite wordy in very small writing, so I'm certainly not going to read it all, but it tells us the four doors, which open smoothly and quietly, have stops and open to 90 degrees. All little things that would have been a big deal in the time. Interestingly, at the bottom it says the rear number plate light is recessed into the bumper valance. The very accessible tank filler is situated behind the hinged number plate, so a bit of a hidden fuel tank. I'm sure it's something that was changed due to safety reasons, but it's quite nice to have a hidden fuel tank behind a number plate, I think. Or hidden fuel filler neck is what I'm trying to say. A fuel cap behind the number plate, not really a hidden fuel tank. Obviously that would be hidden. Anyway, then we got this unusual little graphic with French writing on it. I guess this is your Peugeot patented disengaging fan, which you don't get for right-hand drive models, but still showing it quite proudly in this UK brochure. And the rear gives you an idea of how large the boot area was, and again making it very well suited to a taxi cab. Then we turn the page, we get a look at the seats, and then we do have a look at the Deluxe, which we'll certainly come to in a moment, but let's start by looking at that interior in a bit more detail. So it tells us the interior upholstery is elegant and luxurious in cloth of various shades and easily cleaned plastic fabric of matching colours. Right-hand drive models are trimmed in plastic leather cloth. Deluxe had leather trim, I do believe, but like I said, we'll come to that in a moment. If we move down still further, it gives you a look at the rear seats as well. Look very nice. I'm not too sure about the red seats in this particular example, but still, a nice spacious car for the time. It also tells us the opening of the doors is controlled from inside by a safety spring loaded catch, a fixed handle being provided for holding and closing the doors. That gives you a little bit of an idea what the door card and the door pockets look like. Option for a sunroof, which I think is very nice, like a steel sunroof. I think that's pretty good for 62. The sliding roof is perfectly watertight and easily operated even while moving. It can be locked in any position. And as we move down, we got this little unusual little idea that you can turn it into like a bed, which a few cars kind of like played around with this in the 60s. Although, you know, who used them as bed, I don't know. It does tell us the front backrest reclines completely, forming two comfortable couchettes. Transportation of a lying passenger is possible by using only one of the two couchlets. So, kind of like trying to tell you, oh, don't worry, your passenger can be asleep, lying down if you want. It doesn't sound too safe. The backs of the front seats are fully adjustable with automatic return controlled by the handle. And then we get to the Deluxe. Now I don't know if the Deluxe was ever sold as a right-hand drive, but certainly not in 62. It's telling us this is a left-hand drive only option. Personally, I think it's the option to have because I think it's really nice actually. The 404 Deluxe Saloon has the same mechanical characteristics as the 404 Saloon. This model, intended to satisfy all demands for elegance and comfort, has a high-class finish. Interior upholstery is leather, armrest lockers between the front seats, metallic paint, chromed headlamp rims, threaded wheel embellishers. So yeah, you can see those different wheel trims, quite a rare wheel trim them. We certainly see the chrome there on the front headlights there as well. If we notice though for the 404, no quarter lights. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And there is the interior of the Deluxe, which certainly looks very nice actually. The high-class interior upholstery is in leather. In the front is a large centre armrest, which is also a locker, which is nice for the time, and adds to the comfort of the passenger and driver. Very nice indeed. And on the back page, where you would expect specifications, it's a bit of a mechanical page, isn't it? Engine, chassis layout, etc. And it just calls it general characteristics. So it's kind of like specifications, but it's kind of like harder to read than normal, but we'll certainly have a look at it. So like we said before, it's a 1618cc engine. What else kind of like key points can we have a look at on this? It goes on to tell you protection of underparts by anti-corrosion coating. Although I'm sure it's not the best, but I kind of feel 60s cars still lasted a bit better than 70s cars just because of the better use of metal, I think. I don't know if that's me or making that up, but that's kind of like how I feel. Synthetic lacquer finish baked at high temperature by infrared. Accurate and smooth steering by rack and pinion with automatic take-up of play. Small turning circle, 3148. Suspension, helical springs and hydraulic telescopic Peugeot double action front and rear shock absorbers with panhard rod at rear. Hydraulic brakes on all four wheels. Handbrake with toothed sector. Rear axle with worm and wheel. Single disc or Jaeger electronic power clutch. Electrical equipment is 12 volts. Dynamo 300 watts, solenoid starter, socket for inspection lamp under bonnet, twin exhaust silencers, petrol tank is 11 gallon, you get a special jack, and then a little bit about the dimensions there as well. It also says there's built-in sockets for quick and easy fixings for a roof rack. And there is that 1618cc engine, the all steel monoblock body of exceptional strength and rigidity, ensuring maximum safety. It tells us the various elements of the mechanical assembly are conveniently arranged, very accessible and easily checked and serviced. Something very much lacking in modern cars, I think. So there we've got the Peugeot 404, and what a wonderful cars these are. Do you remember these cars? How do you think about them? Comments always appreciated. Really enjoy looking at them. If you've not done already, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and we've got membership available. Have a look on the homepage if you're interested in that as well. But thank you so much for watching. Please do stop in again. Take care and all the best.